very good morning to our distinguished chief guest, special invitees, well-wishers, and dignitaries. It's indeed a great morning as we start off today with the FITIS Digital Excellence Conclave, a platform which is created for a lot of knowledge sharing, which will take place in a little while from now, as we have the participation of over 800 individuals from here and around the globe, ICT professionals, and of course, business leaders who will be engaging in a lot of knowledge sharing. It is understood that today, the world over is taking a digital transformation, and we believe that the Digital Excellence Conclave by FITIS is rather very fitting to be taking foot as the economy in Sri Lanka believes that a digital economy is to start off with, and we believe that this is the stepping stone and also becomes one of the biggest and the very first of this nature. With that being said, to formally welcome all of us to this great gathering, I would like to humbly and respectfully invite none other than President FITIS Software Chapter, Chairman FITIS Digital Excellence Awards and Conclave 2021, Mr. Fairuz Habib, to address the gathering. Let's all put our hands together.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Salim Ismail, the keynote speaker, and the chief guest, Mr. Jayantha De Silva, and the chairman FITIS, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe, a distinguished guest, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce the proceeding of Digital Leaders Conclave 2021. Due to the prevailing situation, the health guidelines, we have limited our physical participants out here. There are many participants who is joining virtually. And today we are hosting this program not just as an event, but as a transformation journey, how we are going to drive the digital economy in Sri Lanka. The FITIS has taken the responsibility to drive this concept of digitally transform Sri Lanka. We are now seeking the opportunities that how we could transform our organization as well as our nation. In this journey, we are creating the environment where any size of organization that they should be able to become a global. We are delighted to host this event with the prominent speakers, as you can see here. We have within 12 speakers within Sri Lanka as well as across the globe. Last but not least, our sponsors and partners, they are the pillars of the success of this event. We have lined up all the digital leaders across the world, and especially our platinum sponsor, Oracle, as well as WSO2. And we have our silver sponsors, BMC Software, Dialog TV, Freshworks, Impact IT Solutions, Microsoft, Silverleap, and Cybersoft. And also we have our knowledge partner, which is OpenExO and the Next Campus. And we also have exclusive media partner, Vijay Newspaper, Dialog Enterprise for the enterprise connectivity, as well as under services partner category, we have Z Messenger, Text2Air, and programmatic partner at studio.com, and online solution partner /Tech Labs, as well as finally our online solution partner, which is H1. And finally, I would like to thank all the invitees and participants who is attending physically here today, as well as virtually. I'm looking forward to very productive sessions in the conference today. Thank you.
With that, it's time for us to move into another address this morning, and that is when I would like to invite Chairman, Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka, FITIS, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe.
Very good morning. Today, we gathered here for two parts event. The morning is going to be digital leaders will share their experience to us. And with that experience, how do we apply to our organizations, convert that to digital transformation, use those experience, apply it. The second half, we reserve for Digital Transformation Awards. FITIS started in 1996. We have a 360-degree ICT industry representation here, starting with hardware chapter, software chapter, training and education chapter, professional chapter. Professional chapter consists of all the security, cyber security experts and audit experts. And then communication chapter include all the telecommunication company in Sri Lanka today. Digital services chapter include all the digital services. Office automation chapter, and recent addition to FITIS umbrella is independent professional consultants, which include freelancers. Our two main objectives, one is drive the digital economy in this country. The second one, we know we want the IT BPM export revenue increase, and today our dependency on services are very high. Why not to go on value-added services? Why not to create IPs products in this country? That is our second key objective. Any project, anything, we have an innovator, creator, we have adapter. Why not to consider adapters, recognize adapters, give them some awards, encourage them, create more and more adapters. And this became reality today because of software chapter ExCourse, including our software chapter president, Fairuz, took that challenge, took that idea, convert into reality. Today in the evening, you will be able to see those who have recognition and the awards. The software chapter didn't want to stop there. They were talking about, yes, we can recognize. We have to share our knowledge. We know there are companies in the country, in the world, share or achieve a lot of digital transformation, became exponential organizations. Why not for us to share? That was the second thought, came from the software chapter. That is what we are here today in the morning. Today morning, we want to listen to digital leaders, their experience, their challenges, their potential. With that, we will take that into our mind and go back to our organization, try our best to convert it.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a very big round of applause, let's welcome our chief guest, none other than Jayantha De Silva, Secretary to the Minister of Technology, to address the gathering.
First of all, I must say I come from the industry, and I'm still from the industry. Because I know the industry has a huge role to play in the development of this nation. I know FITIS has a huge role to play. I congratulate of having this wonderful event today, this morning and evening. I need the help of the industry. And thank you so much. And I'm really indebted to you, FITIS, for having this event. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I thank you from my whole heart to you for arranging this. And I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much. Have a great day and have a great event.
He gives more than 150 talks a year to audiences of all sizes around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our keynote speaker, who will be speaking on the sidelines of Industry 3.0 to exponential organization, none other than Salim Ismail.
Hi there, I'm Salim Ismail. Thrilled to be presenting at the Digital Excellence Awards. This talk is titled Industry 3.0 to Exponential, because what we are realizing in the world today is that it's not anymore just about digital transformation. The digital transformation leads to exponential transformation, which is when you try anything disruptive in a legacy environment, the immune system attacks you, right? Because all of our organizations are built to resist change and withstand risk. And yet now that's the high order bit. And how do we deal with that is almost all of the work I've been doing since then. The challenge with exponential thinking is that it's very hard to see, because all of our education, training, intuition about the world teaches us linear extrapolation, right? Today we have a very negative example in the form of Corona. I give it to 2 people, they give it to 4 people, and it goes exponential from there. You can see the world leaders that didn't understand this at all and thought it would disappear, and the ones that went, oh, we better lock down, and dealt with it much better. Korea, for example, has dealt with it admirably well. The enormous positive side of exponential is that we now have a dozen technologies all doubling in the same way that we've seen computation double for the last decades. So I mentioned drones, but The resolution at which we can image the human brain is doubling every year. 3D printing is doubling every 8 months or so. In DNA sequencing, we can sequence the human genome. That's doubling in its capability every 6 months. That may be the fastest moving technology we've ever seen. And all of these technologies put together is leading to enormous breakthroughs driven by this information age. And it's resulting in 4 major paradigms. And let me cover those so you get a sense of how we think about the world. The first is pretty obvious. We're digitizing the world very rapidly, right? Our memories aren't in our heads anymore. They're in our smartphones. All our relationships are digital because of social media as opposed to analog. The second, it turns out that when you digitize, things become very, very disruptive. The best framing and metaphor we've seen for this is photography, where some of you may be old enough to remember film photography. You're operating on a material, physical substrate. You're operating from a scarcity paradigm, right? It costs a dollar a photograph, takes a few days to get your prints back. When you move to digital photography and you move to the information-based environment, 3 fundamentally important things happen. First, marginal cost goes to 0, right? That's amazing. And I can take 1,000 photographs, the cost doesn't change. As a result of that, the domain completely explodes. In film photography, I would very carefully click here or click there because each click was roughly $1. Today, we're basically holding the button down on all of our devices and taking literally billions of times more photographs because the cost has gone. The third thing that's very subtle but very important, especially from a business perspective, is you change the problem space. So what I mean by that is that in a scarcity environment, you have a whole bunch of business models that pop up to help me optimize for that scarcity. I may sell very expensive cameras. I may publish books on photography. I may teach courses on composition and teach people how to take better photographs. And all of these are on optimizing for that scarcity. When you move to the abundance environment, you move to the information-based environment, 3 fundamentally important things result in the fact that all those old business models disappear, right? Nobody can sell expensive cameras anymore. Nobody can teach courses in photography. The problem that we all have in photography today is that we all have 8 copies of our photographs on different online services, and you can't find anything. You've gone from a sourcing problem to a filtering problem. This transition that we've all lived through is now happening in technology after technology, and is starting to hit industry after industry. This is why we call these new industries exponential industries, because there's incredible transformation happening. This quote by David Rose has been stuck in my head for 10 years. He makes the point that all of our organizations are top-down hierarchical pyramid-style command and control structures designed to resist change and withstand risk, right? All our organization structures are designed for efficiency and predictability. Yet today you need to be designed for agility, flexibility, adaptability, speed. Exponential organizations, and they have the following characteristics. And let me kind of cover each one just briefly so you get some sense of it. Okay. The most important is the first one, called the massive transformative purpose. This is the North Star. It answers the question that Simon Sinek asks: why do you exist? What problem are you trying to solve? Some good examples here are Google's is organize the world's information. IKEA, create a better life every day. TED is ideas worth spreading, etc. SpaceX, make life multiplanetary, right? And so we find that every one of these EXOs, as we call it, has this MTP, and all of them have one. So if you want to build a scalable organization, you need this kind of fundamental North Star as you go forward. Then there's 5 externalities, the first being staff on demand, like Uber does not hire its own staff, right? Or we in our ecosystem don't hire our own consultants. Then you have community and crowd. TED is famous for leveraging community and growing the community through TEDx events. Then you have algorithms like Google or DeepMind or Airbnb or Uber matching drivers and passengers with an algorithmic way. Then you have leveraged assets. Airbnb is leveraging other people's bedrooms, and BlaBlaCar and Amazon Web Services was kind of the start of it all where you could take computing off the balance sheet and make the company a variable cost model, right? And then digital engagement models, gamification, incentive prizes, loyalty plans are all there to keep a close track on what's happening. So those are 5 externalities that all these organizations use to keep a very small feature footprint and scale very quickly. Then there's 5 internal mechanisms that allow you to drive culture and manage the control framework. The first being interfaces, like how will you interact with all of that abundance or your community or your crowd. Airbnb has a very specific interface with its hosts, or Apple with its App Store developers, right? It's actually a form of IP in a sense. The second is dashboards, real-time dashboards that track the company's performance in real time. Forget quarterly or annual reports. In an EXO, you need to be tracking real time, because if something starts to go wrong or right, you want to know as fast as possible, right? And lots of companies are instrumenting themselves now in real time as a result of this. The third experimentation in this ideas pattern is essentially the whole lean startup methodology of constantly testing premises and running multiple experiments to gauge where we should go. The whole cycle of hypothesize, build, measure, learn is key to this. The fourth is autonomy, decentralized org structures. We have very good evidence today that decentralized organizations scale faster. And you can see the speed with which Uber, or Airbnb, or others scaled in a radical way. And the final one is social, which is all of the social technologies inside a company that allow peer-to-peer collaboration and communication. We have very good evidence today that horizontal patterns of collaboration are much more valuable than traditional top-down command and control boss-to-employee patterns. And you have a whole set of tools like Slack, Yammer, Zoom, Chatter that allow you to do this. So those are all the attributes that allow you to build an EXO. Thanks again.
Let's put our hands together. Ashwani Chandok. He'll be speaking on the sidelines of accelerating outcomes with digitized operations.
Oracle Cloud Infrastructure delivers cutting-edge capabilities unmatched by first-generation cloud providers. Gain improved performance, optimal security, and predictability for the most demanding enterprise workloads. Workloads deployed on Oracle Cloud often require fewer compute servers and block storage volumes, reducing enterprise costs by up to 50% over other cloud vendors. You get all the benefits of public cloud combined with key on-premises benefits. Embrace a network architecture with core-to-edge security, including superior customer isolation and highly automated threat detection. Achieve optimum cost efficiency with multiple payment models, or bring your own license to our cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is built to run Oracle Autonomous Database, Exadata, bare metal, and virtual machines, all on the same networking fabric. Accelerate your transition to the cloud with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure.
It's my pleasure to be with you all today. Digitization of businesses and government services has been going on for some time now. Decades of 1990s and 2000s saw focus on better transactions. ERP and CRM projects were common. These were capital-intensive initiatives which tightly coupled the business processes in monolithic applications. Decades of 2010s and 20s saw the shift of focus to better decisions. During this time, collaboration, analytics, machine learning, and cloud-based projects became the norm. These were information-intensive projects with loosely coupled business processes driven by cloud-native applications. We are currently in the era of rapid digitization. Digitized operations have 2 aspects to it. Outbound digitization, which is about digitally interacting with your stakeholders, and inbound digitization, which is about digitization of business processes and IT operations. Why is this important? Because it helps accelerate desired outcomes for your organization. If you're a business entity, you're driving outcomes like growth, delightful customer experience, and enhanced business operations efficiency while managing risks effectively. And if you are a government entity, you are striving to maintain trust of your constituents, make it easy for citizens to access services, enhance service delivery operations, while managing risks effectively. If you look around us, social and mobile domains are playing a key role driving outbound digitization. Analytics, machine learning, and cloud are driving both outbound and inbound digitization. Let's look at the outbound digitization first. This is the domain of customer-centric process automation and interactions. If we wind the clock back 7 or 8 years to 2014 and 15, the latest and the greatest thing you would find in digitization discussions was SMAC, an acronym for Social, Mobile, Analytics and Cloud. SMAC was an important piece of the puzzle for many businesses which were starting their digital transformation journey. Nowadays, we hear less of this term as most organizations are already well down the digital transformation path. Most organizations already have a digital presence, although the maturity of a given organization's digital twin may vary. While we all know the B2C examples of how Netflix, Facebook, WhatsApp have grown exponentially by harnessing the power of SMAC, let's explore how the congruation of these four forces helps address issues and expectations of our stakeholders in business and government settings. And if you're wondering, what can I do with these 70 plus services? I have a suggestion. I invite you to join Oracle Cloud Bytes series. Every Wednesday, 12 to 12:30 Singapore time, join Oracle Cloud infrastructure experts as they introduce one proven Oracle Cloud adoption pattern every week. Thank you for your time today. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe.
With that being said, it's time for us to move on to yet another eminent speaker who would be addressing us this morning, and he would be speaking on the sidelines of reimagining customer experience in a digital environment. We have with us from Freshworks, Rajiv Ramanan. Let's all put our hands together.
I would first love to thank FITIS for organizing such a great event and Cybersoft, our partners in Sri Lanka, for having us to present here. To talk about the future, we also need to talk a little bit about the past. And I'll start at 2020. 2020, as all of us know, was a year of change, right? The world was not ready for such a pandemic, and all businesses had to reinvent themselves to ensure that they are surviving. And this was a real test for survival for businesses of all sizes. 2021 was a challenging year because the new normal was on front of a lot of businesses, and businesses had to adopt their complete customer engagement processes to ensure that they deliver right experiences for customers. And customers were also becoming very restless, and customers wanted anytime, anywhere services, which marked the milestone of any large enterprise to survive this pandemic had to reinvent their whole business model in a customer-centric way. And we see that today, even small businesses to large businesses have come out of this pandemic with flying colors because they were able to adopt and deliver strong customer experiences through omni-channel solutions. And once we cross this stage, 2022, what is it going to be? In our honest opinion, what we are seeing is that customers today are so used to the ease and convenience of engaging with businesses digitally, but they are also longing for conversations. They are also longing for the empathy that people generally get in physical offline interactions. So 2022 onwards, it's going to be a challenge for enterprises to reinvent themselves so that they are able to provide the seamless experiences of offline with strong personalization in offline, combining to deliver new experiences in the new normal. I'm going to be talking to you about 5 trends today that we see is going to shape CX in 2022.
The expert speaking on the sidelines of the iceberg phenomenon of automation. Well, we have a group of individuals who will be speaking on the sidelines. Let's have a look.
The digital-first IT world is yeah. You've got hundreds of business applications, all in transition, from legacy to cloud, with data pipelines running everywhere, and all built by federated DevOps teams pushing to get into production first, with everyone delivering an existing or new critical business process. Are you helping your business leaders go faster, do more, and compete with all this chaos going on? Tame application and data pipeline chaos with BMC Helix Control-M, a SaaS application orchestration platform that simplifies the management of complex data, file transfer, and application workflows in production. Smart IT leaders are winning with an application orchestration strategy that provides built-in governance, security, and scalability in production with a self-service solution for their decentralized teams. With a 360-degree view of your workflows, you can ensure your business processes are delivered on time, every time. Learn more at bmc.com/Helix Control-M.
Good morning, all. Thank you, FITIS, for the opportunity to be part of this important event. It's a pleasure to be part of this forum. My name is Ratish, and I lead the BMC Control-M stack for India. Without any further ado, through this forum, we wanted to set the context of BMC Control-M and how it has helped organizations in its pursuit of becoming automated digital enterprises. The iceberg analogy, as is visible on the screen, perfectly suits the context of automation. As is known, what lies beneath constitutes up to 80% of the iceberg and is invisible. But without doubt, that's what sustains the iceberg. In the realm of customer-centric automation too, the same phenomena is observed. The automation that is visible to the human eye is human-to-machine interactions. But what happens after that? Machine-to-machine automation, application-to-application automation is completely invisible, but contributes up to 70% of all automation, and needless to say, is critical for business processes to be seamlessly executed. This critical part of automation that sustains organizations is many a times the weakest link, with manual processes, crons, and rudimentary methods being used to sustain the same, wreaking havoc in systems when they fail. Customer-centric process automation, powered by the revolution and disruption caused by the SMAC stack, enables an organization to reimagine its operations process to enhance consumer interaction and experience to stay ahead of competition.
One of the great questions that is constantly being asked is what the new normal will look like. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption and implementation of many technologies that would have taken years, if not decades, to become mainstream. We have virtual work from home to telehealth, distance learning, journalism, and virtual physical activities such as yoga and fitness training. Many activities even switched to online delivery. According to a Gartner survey, 82% of employers are going to allow their employees to work remotely some of the time, and 47% say that they will do it all of the time. These businesses are spending more on IT than ever before, and those needs are shifting as organizations balance the need for ongoing remote work with digital transformation plans that include automation, AI, ML, and low-code and no-code platforms.
Data ops is nothing without data. And today, it's data everywhere. People call it as the new oil because there is a lot of potential on the huge amount of data that we are all creating and having around us. Data exists in so many different formats. Data exists in so many different environments, and we as consumers and creators are piling it together. There's been more data growth in the last few months than there has been in decades before. It's gone into zettabytes, gone are, the typical megabytes and terabytes. We are in massive scale. Now, what do we do with all of this data growth? That's the big question. How do we derive the best insights for our organizations, for our customers, for finding new sources of revenue? So there's a ton of usage on how data is leveraged today. And to make this production ready, you need to bring data ops together and make it alive. And that's done through Helix Control M. Now, to summarize the whole life cycle itself, typically, data scientists build these data pipelines in Python as a language. Now, while they do it, at the same place, they are able to orchestrate various cloud services and the execution path in production. They test it. We provide, like a dev sandbox for them to test it. And then they push it out into the ops team through the same tooling, which goes into production, gets documented, audit capable, and completely ready to run in production.
Thank you, Ganal, and welcome everybody. My name is Rowan Lees. As BMC's leader of the Helix Control M business unit across Asia Pacific, let me share my thoughts on the challenges faced between application development and IT operations, and how we are helping companies overcome those challenges and unlock the potential of their investment in DevOps technologies and practices. So let's level set on the fundamentals of the topic at hand. DevOps is the practice of bringing application development and IT operations together to shorten the software development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery of high-quality software, applications, and services. Now, enterprise DevOps has been a focus area for investment for a number of years now. Helix Control M is a cloud-native SaaS platform that embodies DevOps. And as a SaaS-based solution, it presents a speed to value and a speed to innovation that aligns with the desired benefits of DevOps principles. A tenant of Helix Control M can be available to utilize within hours. There is no design, no implementation delays, and all of the education services offerings required to enable your business are accessible via web-based training.
And we will be talking about the digitization of product and services. We have Dr. Sanjeeva Veeruvarna.
Okay, so I'm supposed to talk about digitalization of products and services. So I don't have any slides. I'm just going to talk you through a few points that I want to make for people to understand about what is interesting and what is important about this problem. So as you've been hearing, there's a lot of tech out there for digital and so forth. But really, I'm going to take a step back a little bit and be a little bit more constructive about what I talk about. is what is this digital thing? What does it actually mean? How do we go about doing it, and so on. So first of all, digital is really where you're going to compete in the future. Whether you're a digital business or you're not a digital business, everybody is expecting to have a nice digital experience as being a fundamental component of how customers will select you in various forms. So the differentiation as we go along, for example, if you take PickMe versus Uber that we have here in Sri Lanka for ordering food, they have the same restaurants, they have the same prices, they have the same everything. So why do I use one versus the other? It's the quality of that app, the quality of that experience that they provide you is what makes the difference. So what matters going forward is the quality of the digital experience that you can provide to your customers as to whether they are going to be your customers or not, or whether they go to somebody else. And also, you got to remember, in the modern world, it's not only the customers. For example, if you are a new person who's just graduating from university and looking for a job, if they have the choice of working in a digital environment, in a company that is operating digitally, versus something where, when you want to take a day off, you need to fill a form on paper, you know where they're going to go, right? So it's not just customers, it is all stakeholders of an organization care about the digital experience. So it is a multifaceted digital experience you need to compete on to build a business these days. First of all, I think it's important to understand the difference between internal digitization versus external digitization. Internal is very important. The scenario I just mentioned to you about employees selecting a company, one versus the other, is an internal aspect. But internal digitization is primarily about cost efficiency and productivity. And if I'm a customer, that's not my problem, right? If I'm a customer, all I care about is, do you give me the service that I want, or do you sell the product that I want at the right price? And how you do it inside doesn't really matter. There is a famous story of this thing called the Mechanical Turk, which was a chess playing machine that someone built, which turned out, it was in the 1800s, if I remember right. It turned out there was a person hiding inside that machine and playing chess with the real human being and pretending to be mechanical, right? And Amazon, of course, now has a service called Mechanical Turk, which is all about giving digital work and people signing up and doing the work, right? Actually, the work is being done physically by human beings, but it's a complete digital experience. So from an external point of view, internal stuff is not my problem, right? Internal stuff is important because if you want to compete, cost efficiency and productivity is going to eventually affect the experience you can produce. If your cost efficiency is not good, you're going to be too expensive for the customer. If your productivity is not good, then you're going to be too slow for the customer. So either one doesn't work, right? Of course, the external digitization is really all about the customers and suppliers and partners and people who are external to the organization. So it is also an opportunity for companies which are used to saying, well, I can't go global because it's very expensive. I need to go hire people. I need to put footprint there, all kinds of stuff. Now it's nothing, right? It's a wild west out there in the cloud. You can put up the service and take a .com or .whatever domain in whatever TLD that you want, and off you go, right? And you're now operating in the world, and you can sell to the world. So thank you very much. I look forward to the chat coming up.
Your business has unique challenges, but what if you could just use one tool to solve a few of the major ones? LifeRay DXP is designed to help your organization provide the best digital experiences for users, be it employees, customers, suppliers, partners, students, or citizens. LifeRay is flexible, ready to integrate with existing technologies and processes, and scalable, made to adjust to growth and new system adoption. Built for the technical requirements of your IT team and the ease of use for business teams, the platform empowers enterprises to create personalized solutions, such as intranets, self-service portals, e-commerce sites, and integration platforms. Build infinite solutions on a flexible, integrated digital experience platform with an enterprise focus and a top B2B rating. LifeRay DXP. One platform, endless solutions.
Introducing the all-new Dialogue Television View Hub. Rewind and catch-up TV. Over 5,000 apps on Google Play. Thousands of movies and TV series. Play games. Chromecast built-in. Stunning 4K clarity. Dialogue Television View Hub, the ultimate TV experience.
Say hello to tomorrow's way of digital advertising using algorithms and real-time bidding. It's not just another software, it is a data-driven advertising ecosystem that will boost your bottom line. Introducing Ad Studio, your versatile programmatic advertising ecosystem, here to revolutionize your advertising world. Make your advertising campaign the talk of the town and connect with customers using adstudio.cloud.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time for us to enter into the next on today's morning agenda, which is, of course, the fireside chat. The term itself gives us a good meaning. The fireside chat is going to be an eye-opener to all of us here today, where they will be speaking on the sidelines of how to take off and stay ahead. Well, there you go. It is how to take off and stay ahead. This will be a panel discussion, and why I said that this is going to be a fireside chat indeed, because we'll be having the expert opinion coming in not just from Sri Lanka, but also we go international, we go global, and we'll be joined by individuals from South Africa, Singapore, and of course from Sri Lanka. And to moderate this great fireside chat, I have the honor of inviting our moderator to take over the session. I have the pleasure of inviting our moderator, none other than Dr. Ramesh Shanmuganathan.
So today, I think most of you would have read Tom Friedman's book, The World is Flat. So the world is getting flatter by the day with the interaction between man and machine has unraveled numerous possibilities and has accelerated innovation and disruption equally, right? So a lot has been written about and spoken about smart organizations, smart people, smart products and services. Sanjeev spoke to digital organizations, digital platforms, digital natives, who thrive in a data-driven world by personalization and creating engagement, right? Why are the people who have born digital are succeeding in the digital world, and the brick and mortar guys are struggling?
Okay, I think you can hear me now. It took a bit of a while to unmute there. So thanks so much for having me. You know, we're living in this, I'll just jump straight in, we don't have much time. We're living in this VUCA world, right? As Sanjeeva was speaking before, you know, everyone has to embrace digital. Everyone has to. What really concerns us at OpenExO is the fact that people are digitizing their linear processes. And Sanjeeva spoke a bit about this too, that it's not about digitizing linear processes, it's about completely looking at new processes. And so Salim, of course, spoke earlier where he introduced the EXO model. You know, this model was developed 7 years ago, and in the 7 years that we've been working with it, we've seen how it can absolutely transform organizations. Of course, transforming your organization is difficult. You have a corporate immune system within your organization that can dilute that innovation, and that's something we'll also speak about a bit later. But it is absolutely possible for any organization today to leverage exponential and to be global. You know, you think of a company like Canva, it comes out of Australia, yet it's being used globally. A company like Xero, an accounting software, it comes out of New Zealand, a country of just 5 million people. Yes, yet it's being used globally. This is possible with organizations from around the world, and you know, coming from Sri Lanka as well. Of course, Ramesh mentioned Yohani, right? And that is the power of exponential. In August this year, she had 1 million subscribers. September, 2 million. October, 3 million, right? Yet in December last year, it was only 250,000. That's what exponential means. So excited for this discussion, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so first of all, I'm extremely delighted to be part of this panel, and I thank FITIS for having me. We have been hearing a lot about digital transformation, where to start and how to sustain it. And I think besides the organization's brain behind it and the executive sponsorship behind it and culture and etc., which my colleagues will talk, I wanted to emphasize on how the digital technology platform makes the digital transformation successful, right? To start with a simple definition, digital transformation is about organizations' metamorphosis through the use of digital technologies. And it is not a lever for an incremental improvement. It is for driving radical business performance or exponential business performance, as Kevin was alluding to. Now, these technologies which you can use for digital transformation vary from time to time, sometimes also with industry, whether you are regulated or not regulated, and sometimes also with the location where you are based. But at this point of the time, the technologies which are commonly being used for harnessing the digital transformation can be classified into 4 categories. First is analytics, but analytics using machine learning and artificial intelligence or big data analytics to drive insights from your huge data and convert insights into action. Second is mobile apps, not for just ordering a food or a cab, but mobile apps in a context of converting your last mile manual process into a process which you are not only digitizing, but you're enhancing your customer experience. And later on, I'll give some examples, real life examples. Third is technologies that help you to share your digital capabilities and platforms with others. For example, distributed ledgers or blockchains, right? And fourth is social media for understanding the sentiments analysis and taking real-time actions on improving your products and services and so on. Why is it important in the post-COVID era? Because we have seen that in the last 2 years, the demand patterns have completely changed. The consumer behavior has completely changed. Every organization today now needs to understand how do you really measure and in a trustworthy way of customer satisfaction when your consumer is remote and ordering most of the things digitally, right? So that's a big change for most of us. Second is unreliable supply chains. We never had this issue of supply chains breaking with the international borders opening, closing, reopening. And so every organization needs to think of alternate supply chains and make them as sustainable and make their business capability to be able to predict not just forecast, but supply reliability. And third is increase in the cost because of the complete uncertainty. So given these business drivers, digital transformation today has become far more relevant. And hopefully my discussion on digital technology platform will help everyone to understand how digital technologies play a big role in transforming your organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Vijay. Over to you, Nalika.
Sure. So I'm very lucky to be here because I can see the audience. So when I see the faces of audience, so I thought this is too techy, right? Too much of technology. So that way we are talking about digital technologies too much. Then sometimes, so we don't know how to use this technology with our business. So that's the biggest problem. So I thought, so to make it more relevant to us, so it's when it comes to digital transformation and exponential growth, so you need to think about yourself as a caterpillar. So when it comes to exponential growth and digital transformation, it's about transforming caterpillar into butterfly. So then if you start your business in a BPM industry, for example, if you are continuing that one for 5 years, 6 years, and 10 years, that means you are a fat caterpillar. So you are not a butterfly. So then when you are thinking about bringing in technology for the same industry, doing the same thing, that means you will become a fast caterpillar. You will definitely have a growth. Definitely we need to have a growth. Otherwise, we are not continuing the business, but you will not transform into butterfly. So then just imagine the difference between caterpillar and the butterfly. When you think about the butterfly, so you can do wonders. That's the same example. I used to tell this one as a Johannes model. So we are talking about Uber model, we are talking about Facebook model. Now we have something that when you are talking about exponential growth, you can have Johannes model. So we were talking about this open innovation, we were talking about APIs, we are talking about social, everything included in this Johannes model. She is a random singer in Sri Lanka, come up with a cover song and use the YouTube and become very famous and reach to the top 5 in the chart. So that's the exponential growth we are talking about. There are so many singers, that so many people are trying to achieve that one. They suddenly, the Johannes suddenly came to picture and achieved that highest level. That is what we call as exponential growth. So you are not planning for that one. So you are always thinking about the customer side, how we can do better. So what are the customers are having now, and what are the pains and what are the gains that customers are expecting. Then you are trying to tap into those needs. Now, if you think about the big startup, for an example, Facebook, Uber, Snapchat, all these things, so they are still working with the head-to-toe requirement. So there's nothing big things people are thinking about. Think about the Facebook, it's about psychology, it's about giving entertainment. Snapchat, it's about entertainment. So you don't need to think about the big, groundbreaking solutions when you want to disruptive or when you want to become exponential. So you can think about the psychology side of people, what customer really want. Now think about social media, think about Facebook, think about Snapchat. It's not about groundbreaking requirement, it's about entertaining. So therefore, if you use this commerce knowledge or otherwise the consumer knowledge, then you can use simple of technology. You don't need to bring in very big technology. Netflix started as a mail delivering system. So we are talking about Netflix as a disruptive company, not because of they are using live streaming and all these things, but their business model at the very beginning is very new. So mail delivery is very new. So therefore, when you are thinking about disruption or digital transformation, don't think about you need to bring in all these expensive technologies into your organization. It's all about identifying the customer well and come up with a solution that others don't have. That's where you can bring in digital transformation leading towards the exponential growth. So that's my opening remark.
Thanks, Nalaka. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Hi, sorry, I was having trouble getting it to unmute. Ramesh, maybe since I just spoke, I won't take much time. And I'll just continue along with the conversation in the interest of time.
Great. So I think technology to create the exponential effect, right? So Nalaka spoke of a caterpillar transforming to a butterfly. We heard a lot of comments about Johannes leveraging the digital platform to, in a short span of 3 months, get to 300 million fan base, right? Would that have been possible in the physical world, right? So digital has a huge reach. Because today your degrees of separation has dropped from 6 to 3 on Facebook. So that's the exponential potential of reach that you would have through the digital grapevine itself. So Sanjay, on that note, I know you had a comfortable job at IBM, ended up starting a company, and you have, I think, traversed about, 20 years now in the journey? Yeah, 25. So what is your learning that you could share for others, budding entrepreneurs to learn from, and also the big giants who can model after in terms of how they could scale the company beyond the shores of Sri Lanka, in line with what Professor Nalaka also spoke of. How do you really see the opportunity beyond the shores of Sri Lanka and scale the company beyond? And how do you use platform to leverage that?
Okay. So before I answer, I want to make a comment about Sri Lanka as a country having only 2 years of profitable operation. Actually, many tech companies operate like that too these days. At least in the US public markets, growth matters way more than profit. And if you look at most of the hot tech companies that you can look at, not the more mature older ones, but the new ones, they're all losing money like there's no tomorrow. But there's plenty of money to support them. Anyway, so coming back to your question, so yes, so one of the fundamental things that we focused on in WSO2 was that we wanted to create a technology platform that allowed our customers to be innovative and creative and build good experiences.
Right. Thanks a lot, Kevin, Vijay, Radhak, and Sanjeev. So just to put it in a nutshell in terms of what got discussed, the mantra for success is find a nonlinear problem to solve at scale, right? Use the platform and data to build something as a solution, right? And scale it or die, right? I think that was probably the crux of the message which got delivered, and I hope you all took it in the right spirit, and I hope it was worthy of your 1 hour eating into your lunchtime. And thanks once again, Kevin, Vijay, Narak, and Sanjeev, and to the audience for your patience listening. Have a wonderful day.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of FITIS and Organizing Committee of Digital Leaders Conclave Season 2021, it's my great privilege and honor to share the vote of thanks. Let me first start by thanking all the dignitaries who were presented in the morning today from government, ministries, and all other ecosystems, and those who are witnessing the event and the conclave physically here and virtually on our virtual platform. And thank you for taking off your busy schedules and time off your busy schedule and sparing your invaluable time and spending almost half of the day. And special thanks goes to the FITIS chairman, vice chairman, and past chairmans, presidents and vice presidents of all the chapters, and all the advisory panel members and friends from the industry who had helped us to make this event a success. Final thanks goes to all the members from FITIS secretarial team who had worked tirelessly to make this event a success. I think without their contribution and the involvement of each and every individual, starting from CEO to all the members from the secretariat, to make this event a success. Thank you so much for being with us, and this is not going to end today in this year. This is going to be a seasonal event, Digital Leaders Conclave, and awards going to be take place in 2022 and subsequent years as well. We wanted to see many other organizations coming forward to take part in this event, to assess their digital maturity. And I strongly believe all of you would leave this hall with the exponential mindset. The end state of the whole digital transformation journey is to create an exponential organization by achieving an exponential growth. We strongly believe that's the takeaway from this particular hall with the topic that Salim Ismail has set and all the other speakers have set in today's forum. Thank you so much.